Hey everyone, this is Dan, and I'm going to go through understanding a blockchain. So, blockchain is new piece of technology that sort of is all the rage these days, but a lot of people aren't really sure what it is or how it works. So, I figured I would do a video to provide some of that information. So, how does a blockchain work? Is we're going to think of, if you think of like Bitcoin. How it works is someone requests a transaction. The transaction is broadcasted to a network of computers, which are known as nodes. And then that network validates the transaction. So each node validates the transaction, basically makes sure that it's legit. And then once it's all verified, it gets put into a block of data, which is where they get the blockchain from. Then the new block is added to the series of other blocks that were already built. And then after that, the transaction's actually complete. So what's cool about blockchain is it is it can be you have a wallet ID and the person that you're sending your transaction to also has an ID. So there is a way that it can be tracked, but it's not as centralized as, let's say, if you wanted to cash a check or something. Because if you wanted to cash a check, you would have to write the check out to someone else, send it to your bank. Your bank has to authorize it and then release the money. So, how the blockchain works is basically the nodes verify and make sure that the transaction is legit. And then once a certain amount of nodes verify, it gets put in the blockchain, which is sort of like a constantly updated ledger. And then once it's in the blockchain, then the transaction will be complete. So blockchains are very secure because if you wanted to go in and try to alter one individual transaction, you would have to first undo all the transactions that happened before the one you're looking for. So you would have to undo all the blocks that have happened between the time that transaction originally occurred and in the present moment. You have to undo all that and then get into the actual transaction that you're looking for, all in the amount of time it takes to build the next new block. So the ledger doesn't stop building, it's constantly building. And I think a new block is built it's like every 10 minutes or something like that. So what that means is if you were trying to go in and manipulate a transaction, you would have 10 minutes to completely go through all the blocks that have already been built in order to get to that transaction. Then do your manipulation with the transaction and then rebuild all the blocks in that 10-minute time span. So it's very difficult to basically very difficult to hack in and manipulate the block. I mentioned it's a ledger, so it's you can go in there and look at the transactions and see what the transactions who's what wallet's transacting to another wallet, but you can't go in there and try to manipulate it. So let's talk about a few things that this kind of technology is good for. Well, I mentioned banking because, well, that's sort of the idea around Bitcoin was to create a peer-to-peer uh, sort of network where if I wanted to send my buddy $5 worth of Bitcoin, all I have to do is get my buddy's wallet or his wallet address, plug it in there as that's where I'm sending my Bitcoin, hit send, and then after the transaction's verified, he would receive the $5 and then I would have $5 less of Bitcoin. So there's no intermediary, it's just simply me and this other person interacting with one another. It's sort of like how we use paper money, how we use cash right now. Or if I give this person $20, there's no real tracking that $20. All right, so we'll start with banking. And blockchain's really is really kind of upsetting the banking industry because they are threatening to decentralize the financial system. I am not really sure as of right now how any of that stuff would work, but it does. Decentralization takes away people's ability to be corrupt, be able to leverage some people's money as opposed to other people's money. It gets rid of basically the uh, human variable. Whereas if it's decentralized, it runs off of a network of nodes, so it runs off a network of different computers all over the country, sometimes all over the world, like Bitcoin's all over the world. So it's very hard to um, like go in and number one, track these transactions and also go in and manipulate these transactions. Whereas in a centralized bank, if you think of just any bank, everything goes through that bank. Everything has to go to the bank has to verify it, and then the bank has to let go of the monies that's verified. So that becomes a choke point for it creates power for the people in charge of the banking industry, basically. And what decentralized finance does is it allows the network to open up so that not any one person is in charge of the situation. Everything runs as a network. And we have healthcare. So healthcare is just quite a mess of a system sometimes. Doctors don't sometimes they don't send their patients' files over in in a timely manner. Sometimes there's information that's just absolutely lost. So what blockchain technology offers is a chance to store all the medical information in a database in a blockchain where it's secure. People can't just come in and look at it whenever they feel like, whenever they feel that they need to know somebody's medical history. And everybody would it would all be in one spot, so it would be a medical database that is secure and that is easily accessible for the doctors that need it. And basically having everything in a blockchain keeps it secure, but it also keeps it, I don't want to say centralized, but it keeps it so that you can easily retrieve the information if you need it. So I would imagine it would go similar. The healthcare would go similar to like the finance blockchains, where you have a wallet. Each person has a wallet. You can access that wallet by yourself, or if you want a doctor to go in and check your medical history, you can give them your wallet address or whatever they're going to call it, and then they can go in and check out your history without worrying about a bunch of people that don't need to see your medical history looking in and checking it out. And the last industry that blockchain would really help out is the sharing economy, which is the peer-to-peer sharing industry. This has become real big online because a lot, especially with COVID happening, we spend a lot of our time online sharing our Google documents, our videos, our pictures, all that stuff. All that stuff takes an incredible amount of data, and it's like there's Dropbox, there's Google Documents, there's Apple, the iCloud. Everybody's got their own cloud, so it's all over the place right now. And you have to have right now, if you have some stuff in Dropbox, you have to have the username and password for your Dropbox account. You have to have an account for Google Docs. You have to have an account for the iCloud. So what the blockchain will do would be able to create, again, sort of like you would have your own wallet, and your wallet has the data that that you've uploaded or that you are holding on to, and you'll be able to share your data, your pictures, your you know documents, all that stuff, just by simply uh, finding an address that you want to send it to, typing in the address, and hitting send. And it's a secure way to send that stuff. Usually, it's encrypted, and like I said, it's from the blockchain, so it's all a bunch of data put together, packaged, and verified. And then when it would be sent out, it would be encrypted so that no one can sort of intercept it on its way to that person. That's actually the sharing economy is expected to really take off in the next few years, especially since there's been the government and big businesses have been sort of sharing and selling our data for the last however many years. But it's we've all been made aware of that now. So now that we're all aware that they're using our data to basically create advertisements tailored specifically for us, uh, what this offers is the ability to take your data back and to only share the data that you want to share, and then possibly you can be can earn income from that. There are a couple crypto apps out there right now that you store all your data in there, and it's instead of Amazon just kind of taking your data, you would have to go through this crypto company that has all your data in it. And then when you do send, all right, I want to send some data out to Amazon, they do you do get a reward for that. It's just only a few cents right now, but like I said, it's going to start to become more and more important as we, number one, as we transition to a more digital lifestyle, I guess. So those are the three sort of industries that the blockchain could change or interrupt. I think it's a good technology. It's a way to keep everything secure, safe, and it's a way to keep to give individuals back a little bit of freedom, especially with the finances. Like Bitcoin is peer-to-peer transactions. And you do have to buy your Bitcoin in a fiat currency, but once it's in Bitcoin, it can be traded all around the world. So it's not tethered to a specific currency. All right, so that'll do it for my quick little blockchain video, and I hope to see you in the next one.